It is Cash Booza. Welcome back to the Daily Show, and today we're going to be taking a look at the stock market. What's going on with the S&P 500, what's going on with the Nasdaq, the Bitcoin, a whole bunch of mega caps, and a lot more. But first, we're going to head over to my screen and let's see what the latest news in the financial markets is. So the judge says that Trump media has breached stock contract with early investor. And what does Mr. Trump say? Mr. Trump, what do we say
I
to
see
this?
this. It's so incredible. Ding, 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 ding. Boom. Okay. Pshin, boom. Star Wars.
Star Wars, that's right, Star Wars. So it's not looking good for Trump, and we'll see what happens with the Trump stock. But first, let's take a look at some other stuff. So Goldman Sachs sees S&P 500 at 6,000 in 12 months. It's crazy. Everyone is like, recession is coming, this is coming, that is coming, but Goldman is like, nope, recession is not there. 6,000 on the S&P in 12 months. We'll see what happens. And they're basically saying that the lower the interest rates, the higher the S&P goes. We'll have to see what happens about that. And China, look at that. China new home prices fall at fastest pace in 9 years. Wow, it's crazy. The US housing market all-time high. Houses are not coming down. Supply demand issues. But in China, it's completely the opposite. The stock market, the Shanghai composite has been dropping. The housing market has been dropping, and it's not looking good for China. And by the way, a lot of the Chinese individuals, a lot of the Chinese investors have parked their money in real estate. They've bought properties, they've bought commercial properties, residential properties. So given the fact that a lot of people have parked their money not in the stock market, but rather in real estate in China, is gonna hurt a lot of people and a lot of individuals, lots of households in China. But that's not a problem in the US because you follow Cash Booza, and Cash Booza always says keep it in the S&P because the S&P is just touching the record highs, and we're going to talk about that. So Bank of America sees rate cuts and propelling gold to $3,000 an ounce. Can you believe it? I've been a big proponent of gold. I've been saying that gold is gonna reach new highs, and new highs. It's a great metal. I love gold, the shiny stuff. It's amazing. Let's take a look at what else is going on. So Fed to cut rates by a quarter point with a soft landing expected. No recession. Everyone is like recession. Fed is like, nope, there is no recession. We are going to keep it as soft as possible. No recession whatsoever. So let's take a look at some of the charts, and we'll see how the S&P is performing, how the S&P is reacting to these rate cuts that are on the horizon. So looking at the S&P, so first of all-time highs. Congratulations, guys. We'll do the cat dance right here. Let's do the cat dance because why not? Wow. What an amazing chart. Look at that. Absolutely amazing. Wow. S&P touching all-time highs, a clear higher low on the S&P, and now we're at a critical level of 560. So we'll see how the S&P reacts. Again, the rate cut is on the horizon, and when the Fed cuts rate, they're not cutting from the goodness of their hearts. They're not cutting it because they feel like it. They see something wrong in the economy, and then they're like, okay, now is the time for us to come out and lower those interest rates because we see all the pain in the economy. The hiring has slowed down, the businesses have slowed down, and not a lot of activity, economic activity is happening in the economy. So the S&P touching all-time highs. We'll also take a look at what's going on with the Qs. The Qs are not as high as the S&P 500, and that just shows that the best index to park your money is not in tech, it's not in consumer staples, it's not in consumer discretionary, it's in the overall index, the economy, the US economy, the S&P 500. So SPY all-time high, Qs not reaching all-time highs. That's because Qs are very, very tech heavy, and the tech sector has not been performing as well as the S&P, but it's at a very respectable level. 473, it's not crashing. Everyone on YouTube is like, oh my god, the economy is crashing, S&P is gonna crash. Nothing is happening, guys. If something changes, we will cover that, but as of now, absolutely no problems. It's a very healthy rally and we should continue to hold. Again, ride the rallies and sell the dips. That's what we do. We trade with the market. We never trade against the market, because that's when the problems happen. That's when the greed takes place, and we don't want to get into that. So that the market wants to go up, we will trade with the market. Okay, so IWM, what's going on? We've talked about this earlier. 222 is what I'm watching. If it clears this level, it's gonna be a big victory for the small caps. We are watching this like a hawk. The thing that I want to see happening with the IWM is that if it comes down a little bit, I want to see something like that. I want to see a bounce to the upside, and if it clears this level that I've previously talked about, it is going to be great for the small caps. The small caps have not been performing as well as they should have been. So the S&P, the Nasdaq, great indices, but the small caps have been a little bit behind. So is it time for the big money to rotate into the small caps? We're gonna have to see, but if it does, we will trade this and we will get into this rally and we will make a lot of profits. So we'll take a look at the volatility. Let's take a look at volatility, what's going on. So I've talked about this, that the VIX above 20 is a very dangerous VIX. We don't trade a lot if the VIX is above 20. Right now, the VIX is sitting at a healthy 17. It's not that low, it's not that high. It means that we can take trades according to what seems fit. And let's take a look at the US dollar. So I've talked about the US dollar before, and I think that this is a great level for the US dollar. I've given you guys the trade on US dollar. Again, not a financial advice, but I've given you guys the trade on here about 101. And the reason is because if you look back on the US dollar, it's a great level. It's a great level. Look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and there should be more reactions if I go even further back. So it's a great level for the US dollar. If it breaks down, that means some serious concerns for the US dollar, and that means that the S&P is gonna go even higher. If the US dollar breaks down, S&P goes higher. It's an inverse relationship on these markets. So if the US dollar holds, that means that we have to be a little bit more cautious. Maybe there might be a little bit of pullback on the S&P, but the US dollar should see some kind of a reaction on this, and the S&P should hold those all-time highs for a little bit, and then we will see how the market reacts, how the economy is doing, and what happens if the Fed cuts even more rates, and how the market's gonna react to those additional rate cuts. The Democrats are saying that they want additional rate cuts. They are not happy with a 25 basis point. They want a 75 basis point. Usually that means a big fat recession. So we'll take a look at the Apple stock. What's going on with Apple? So Apple dropped 3% yesterday. We will take a look at Apple once again. Apple is putting a good fight. Okay, it's not crashing, it's not burning. Apple is a great company, biggest company in the S&P 500. It's a great chart. Look at this. It came down again today, tested those lows about the 214 level, and then bounced back. So I should be looking at some kind of a gap fill here. If we see some kind of a gap fill, that's going to be an interesting trade. If the gap fill happens, we will see how the market reacts at the 223 level where the daily 20 moving average sits. Just go with the price action, guys. So natural. If the price is giving you all these rejections, you trade up. If the price is breaking down, you trade down. So simple. Don't fall for any of the indicators. If there is an indicator, I will give it to you guys, something that I personally use, but as of now, no indicators. Just trade according to the charts. So gold is at all-time high. I have no problems with that. We'll take a look at the weekly chart and see how the gold chart is performing on the weekly time frame. No problems whatsoever. Very healthy. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Look at those reactions. It's a very healthy chart, guys. Gold, absolutely no problems. Keep it, hold it. Not a financial advice. hold it, and you'll be all set for the next couple of years. Again, let's take a look at silver. What's going on with silver? Pretty much the same story. Silver is doing exactly the same thing as gold. If gold goes up, silver goes up, copper goes up, all these metals are interconnected. No surprises about that. We will take a look at US oil. What is going on with US oil? So this is interesting. Look at this. We have a couple of reactions here. This 64, 66 level is very, very key. Look at that. 1, 2, 3, and we will give this a reaction as well. So 4. So very, very clear level over here. There is a demand here, guys. There is a demand, and if the US oil breaks this demand level, then we should be expecting even low oil prices. But as of now, I can tell you that oil has been trading at its lowest level in a couple of years. I'm in Georgia and I'm seeing about $3 a gallon. The way that oil is trading, I think that it has the potential to go lower if it breaks this level. So reaction at this level, very, very important. If it wants to go higher, I should be seeing something like this, something like that. That's going to be really interesting, and that's a confirmation that we should be taking a trade on US oil. Crypto, what's going on with Bitcoin? Absolutely nothing. It's up about 3%. It's really interesting. Bitcoin is up 3%, but it's not a trade that we can take just yet. If you're holding, no problems. But if you are trying to enter this, it's a very risky trade because we don't know where the market is going. The market needs to clear 73,000. If the market clears 73,000, it's a great buying opportunity for Bitcoin. On the short side, if the market breaks down 52,500, it's gonna be a great sell for Bitcoin. That's all I had for you guys today. I hope you enjoyed today's show. If you did, give me a like and follow Cash Booza, and I'm gonna see you tomorrow.